I messed that up. I wanted to flip myself here real quick. What is going on, YouTube? Sorry about that. I had to click my thing back to get myself back into position here. I meant to actually have this camera lens on this side, so when I'm doing the up and down on the chat, I don't mess it up, but I messed it up and got in a hurry and forgot to do that. So I'm just stuck with this way now. So now you have to see my finger every time I go up and down on the chat, since I didn't do a good job, a good YouTube job. If you can hear me, let me know in the chat. Let me know that everything is working here. All right, so if you're just joining me, I am in Fort Lauderdale. I'll give you a quick background here. It's been a rainy, stormy day here in Fort Lauderdale, and so there probably won't be a bunch of people running around. I seem to have found this great spot that I've been using in all the cruise ports I've been in for doing these live streams. And even when it's a nice day, not a lot of people show up. So on a day like this where it's a little bit rainy, probably won't be a lot of people, and there's a little bit of protection from the rain. If it starts raining, I might have to move over a little bit, but everything should be good. And I've been on board this ship for 44 days, I believe. I just went over my 200-day mark with Princess. I'm at like 207 now, I believe. Actually higher than that. I'm at like 211 with Princess overall. But 44 days on this 103-day cruise. Actually more than that. I have 59 days left, so whatever 103 minus 59 is how long I've been on here. We did a bunch of Panama Canal, like half cruises, and Central America. Then we just got done with a Caribbean Circle cruise, so we circled the Caribbean, went to a bunch of great ports that I had never been to, so that was pretty awesome. And then now we're headed on a repositioning cruise, which is a Panama Canal cruise, which is a little bit nostalgic for me, because the first cruise I took, not the first cruise I ever took, but the first cruise I took when I decided to go on this 1-year cruise adventure was my cruise to test out what I need to bring with me. And I did a 16-day Panama Canal cruise from San Francisco to Galveston, Texas, where Ruby was sailing out of for a while. And now, over a year later, 3 months later, I am taking a repositioning cruise from Fort Lauderdale on Ruby to LA, but really it's repositioning to Vancouver, Canada, where it'll be cruising Alaska for a while. But before we get up to Vancouver to start cruising Alaska, we're going to do this Panama Canal cruise, which is 15 days, and then we're going to do a 7-day West Coast cruise, which is called a wine cruise. So I imagine the whole cruise centers around wine. When I was on the Princess cruise, that was the comedians cruise. The whole cruise centered around a bunch of comedians. And so I'm assuming that the wine cruise centers around wine. So we'll do that wine cruise up to Vancouver, and then from Vancouver we'll go to Hawaii and back, which will be cool. That's a 16-day Hawaiian cruise. And then I'm going to do 21 days of Alaskan cruising before heading over to Thailand to get a bunch of dental work done. I'll be in Thailand for probably 2 or 3 months, getting the dental work done, and then living in a bunch of different spots, sharing that with you guys. And then I'm going to Kuala Lumpur for a month, and then probably the Philippines, maybe Vietnam. I don't know which one's going to come first, but we'll probably do those 2 countries again, and then probably sail back from Singapore to the United States. And then who knows after that. I've always wanted to live in Iceland for a month or 2, so maybe we'll fly to Iceland. But that's the plan now. Getting ready to start this repositioning cruise today, which is awesome. I got off the boat this morning. So for those of you that don't know, when you're on a cruise and you do back-to-back cruises, you have 2 choices. You can either get off the ship and come back when they start boarding the new passengers, or if you don't want to leave the ship, the ship will have you muster at a place where people who don't want to leave the ship but are going to be on the next cruise where they go. And so you go muster there, and then they walk you off the cruise ship through immigration and then walk you right back on. It takes like half an hour or so. So it's not too arduous, but I didn't do that. I got off early this morning. I went into town. I I wanted some, I really love this silk almond creme brulee creamer, so I got me 4 bottles of that to bring on board to put in my refrigerator. So now I have 4 bottles of that, so that should last me a while. Usually one of those bottles lasts me 7 to 10 days, so that should last me at least 40 days. And maybe I'll pick up another 2 of those to last me the rest of the cruise in LA, or I don't know if you can buy that stuff up in Vancouver or not. I'm sure you probably can, but anyway, that's what I did today, and I actually just got back on board about a half an hour ago. My stateroom got moved. I was in a stateroom for 34 days, but my stateroom got moved, so I went to get that all straightened out before I started this live stream. That's why it's starting so late. Usually I start these live streams when I'm doing a new cruise around 11 or noon, but I wanted to get my new cabin, my new stateroom all squared away, so that's what I did. I went down there, got that all squared away, and I'll be in that same cabin for 59 days, which I'm super, super, super happy about. I love being in the same cabin. I wish I'd never had to move, but I did this time, unfortunately. And I had a great stateroom steward too, so that makes it even that more bittersweet that I lose him, because I had to go to a new section where I have a new steward, but I'm sure he'll be fine as well. But and they're friends, so that's good. All right, let me see who's all here. Hey, if you asked a question, ask it again. I went through that big intro, mostly for people that are watching the replay of the live stream. I went to that big intro so everyone would know what's going on. But if you have something else to say, throw it out there again, and I'll jump in here. Call me V. What's going on? If you guys like van life, RV life content, check out Call Me V. I haven't watched her channel in a while. I need to get back on there. I used to jump on her live streams all the time, but when I'm at sea, it's hard to get on those things. Hey Kevin, I got back from a 7-day cruise to the Bahamas on Norwegian. I had a great time. I love Norwegian. What ship were you on, Jane? What's up, Master Chief? RM1 here, San Diego, wishing you a safe trip. Great video content this past week. Keep it up. I appreciate that. Thanks. Thanks, Sparks. I don't know if they called RM Sparks when you were in, but that's what we called him in my Navy time. Hello, Kevin and all the crew. What's going on, Rich? How you doing, man? Thanks for being a member for 2 years, dude. Wow. Insane. Let's see. Hey, Jonathan's in the house. Speaking of channel members, Watbury, Elvy's in the house. Cruising for One. Do they offer excursions in the canal? I heard they have a smaller boat excursion. To be honest with you, Cruising for One, I never even look at excursions. I probably should. I did book one for an upcoming cruise in Astoria. That's the only excursion I booked in like a long time. But I should start looking at excursions again. But no, I didn't. I don't know if they have any other excursions going on here. Sig the Solo Cruiser, what's going on, man? I need to check out your channel. It sounds like you might have some good content as a solo cruiser. Happy to catch this live this Saturday. Yeah, I like when these turnaround days are on Saturday. There's one of my my old cruise buddies, Andrea Gold. And by old, I don't mean age old, but someone that I've been cruising with over the years. And I can say years now because I met Andrea probably a little over a year ago. Kevin, I was on Encore, very cool. I haven't been on Encore. Hope you remember me. We had Van Life. Of course I remembered you. I was just about to ask, is this the Jane Miller from Van Life? But I didn't want to like make the person feel bad if I didn't remember. But of course I remember you. We met up with Go Small, Live Large in Idaho, I believe. That was an awesome campsite, actually, that we had. If you guys haven't watched my old van life videos, I have some pretty good stuff on there. But I remember meeting Jane in, I think it was Idaho, and it was this campground right next to this huge mountain face cliff, and there was a creek that ran through it, and it was right on a road, but it was still really cool. And it was right next to like an old watering hole bar type of place where they had live music, and you could go in there and drink a pint. I actually wish I would have stayed there longer. It's one of my favorite out in the middle of nowhere camping spots. Wonder if they had a boat going through the old locks. I'm not sure, to be honest with you. Rich said 2 years, 11 months. Do I have a medallion for 3 years? I think they end at 2 years. Maybe I have one for 3 years. I don't even know if I can add one for 3 years, but maybe I'll try. Hey, Fred, thanks for the super chat. I appreciate it. For one of your lattes. Man, well, actually what you did was you paid for one of my creme brulee creamers is what you did, because I just bought 4 of them and they're $5 a piece. So as much as I love the coffee on Princess, I'm sick of paying $5 a coffee for them. And I really like this almond milk, silk almond milk creme brulee creamer that you can get at Publix, and so I went and bought 4 of them. Inside cabin still, yeah, I'm on an inside cabin still. I thought about maybe upgrading to a balcony my last Alaskan cruise, because I'm doing 3 back-to-back Alaskan cruises, so I might do that. We'll see. Alaska is like one of the only places that I can really justify a balcony, because I spend so much time out of my cabin anyway. I mean, I have a balcony right now, like with nobody around, you know? So I have a hard time justifying it in my mind. And since I get those free inside cabins with the casino deals, yeah. Robert Miller said, Kevin, when do you get back? When you do back-to-back cruises but have to change cabins, how do you handle your luggage? So, I mean, I travel carry-on only, so for me it's not too bad, but I keep everything pretty much on the hanger. And the stateroom stewards will move your stuff for you, but I usually just, 8:30 is when you have to vacate your room for them to clean it. So at 8:30, I just walk my stuff over to my new cabin. I almost always, if I have to switch cabins, get them on the same deck. So that's what I did. I walked all my stuff on hangers over to the new cabin, and anything else, I just threw it in my luggage and wheeled it over there. It took me 5 minutes to do, so wasn't a big deal. How you doing? Wasn't a big deal. So. Yeah, that's what I did. I just wheeled it over myself. They will do it for you, but I've never had them do it. I've always done it myself. And we got 107 people in here, 34 thumbs up. If you don't mind smashing that thumbs up, it just helps more people find it. And 70% of you that watch my videos are not subscribed. So if you're not subscribed and you enjoy cruise content, travel content, hit that subscribe button. I got that little saying down pretty good. You should try the salted caramel creamer. I have tried it. I mean, my favorite thing to get at Starbucks is, and thanks for being a channel member as well, Ann, is salted caramel mochas. So I got a lot of butter pecan lattes on here, but I also got the salted caramel mocha. So I usually won't do lattes when I do salted caramel. I just like it better in mocha than I do lattes. So I'll do salted caramel mochas on Princess as well. Hello, just joined you. Where are you and what ship? I'm on the Ruby Princess Belinda, and we are in Fort Lauderdale getting ready to do a repositioning cruise. This cruise ship is repositioning from Fort Lauderdale to, this cruise ends in LA, but it's actually repositioning to Vancouver, which I am riding it to Vancouver, and then I'm gonna be sailing out of Vancouver to Hawaii and Alaska for a while. But yeah, we're in beautiful Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I'm on Ruby still. I'm on the ship for 103 days. I've got 59 days more to go. So I've been on here for a while now, and I love Ruby Princess. All right, let me scroll back up. And again, if I missed your question, please ask it again. If you vacate the ship at 8:30, what time do they want you physically off the ship? Usually it's around 9:30 is when they're supposed to have everybody off. But a lot of times they fall behind, although today they were ahead. I left my cabin at 8:30 to go switch my stuff to the other cabin. And once I did that, I went downstairs, I had a coffee, and then I ended up leaving at about 9:20, and there were still people on board the ship. Joe the computer guy said I did the old locks in Sky. Yeah, I want to do the old locks on a cruise ship. I've done old locks many times when I was in the Navy, but. Any tips for seasickness, says Merva. So my mother went on a cruise with me, a transatlantic cruise from Rome to Fort Lauderdale, and she gets motion sickness really easy. So what she did was she wore the patch a couple days before, and then she was fine. So I always tell people, if you're going to take Dramamine or you're going to wear the patch, start it a day or two before your cruise. I'd recommend 2 days, 48 hours before, because if you get on the ship and you get seasick, it's too late. You want to get that stuff in your system already, and it'll help. Like seasickness comes from like your equilibrium being messed up, and so you want to get that stuff in you right away if you're susceptible to that. Yeah, it's getting bright out here. I might have to put my glasses on. And it makes it hard for this thing to see though. How long will the entire transit take? Will you stop between the two locks? So it's a 15-day transit, but the transit through the Panama Canal only takes 1 day. You go from one, hey, how you doing, man? You only go from one side, you go from one side to the other. So it just takes a day. And on the way there, we'll stop at, I think, 2 or 3 ports. We stop at Colombia, Panama, and maybe one more port before we go. And a lot of times when you go through, sometimes they'll do some kind of excursions where you get off the ship. But I don't know about on a full transit. On the partial ones, they definitely do. But I don't know if you stop somewhere in between. We definitely go through on the same day. And then we hit a couple places in Mexico, Huatuco and Puerto Vallarta. And I think one more place, probably another spot in Costa Rica. But yeah, I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, we definitely hit a couple places before we go in. Then we'd go through the Panama Canal. And maybe they have excursions where people can get off the ship, but then the small boat puts them back on before we go through the canal, the locks. But yeah, I'm not 100% sure on that, to be honest with you. Hey, I got a super chat from Jameson Davenport. Thanks, man. Just getting ready to board my first cruise in 30 years. Thanks for all the tips. That's awesome. What cruise ship are you on? Are you on this one? Are you boarding this one? Somebody that knows me just went by. I think there's going to be a lot of people on this cruise that know me because the Facebook group for this cruise, they've been posting a lot of my videos. So I'm assuming that there's going to be a lot of people on this cruise that know me, which is kind of strange for me. All the other ways I've traveled, van life, international travel, and then motorcycle travel. I don't run into people that go, oh, I watch your channel. But on cruise ships, I do. And lately, especially since I've been on the same ship, and then people follow this ship's Facebook page, and some of my videos have been getting posted there, a lot more people are recognizing me, which is strange for me, but I like it. I want people to come up and say hi to me. I hate when they go, oh, I was on the ship with you, but I didn't want to bother you. Man, come up and talk to me. I love talking to people. Do they close the pools and hot tubs, or are they always open? They're always open unless the seas get really rough, and then they'll shut some of them down. A lot of times, so that obviously that water in that pool is up on the top of the deck, right? So you've got a ship, right? And it's in the water, but the top is the thing that moves the most. So if you got all this water sloshing around, it makes like navigating the ship a little bit harder. So a lot of times they just drain them because of to create more stability on the ship. So if the seas get rough, they might drain them, but they'll still have some of them open. I've never seen them shut every single pool, but I've seen them shut, I've seen them empty the water out of some of them so they can, so they get better stability and less like stuff moving around. Because that's a ton of water in those pools. How do you work laundry long term? So the great thing about Princess Cruises is they have onboard laundry facilities, self-serve. So if you want to do self-serve, you can. You can also send it out. That costs money, unless you're elite on board. Like I'm elite on board, so I can get my laundry done for free. But I'd rather just do my laundry myself because I wear all this merino wool, and it's just, I'm afraid they're going to shrink it. And so I just do all my laundry myself. And when you're on Princess ships, if you go down to guest services and tell them you're elite and you want to use self-serve laundry, they'll actually give you the coins for the self-serve laundry, including the laundry detergent coins. So you don't have to bring laundry detergent on board either, because you just get free laundry detergent, which I think is pretty cool. So, but if not, it's $3 a load for, it's $3 cycle. So washer and dryer would be $6, so $6 a load. And I think the laundry detergent is $1. So yeah, but that's one thing I love about Princess. Other cruise lines aren't like that. I think Holland America has that. But other than Holland America and Princess, maybe Carnival on some of their ships. But other than those, all the other ones you would have to send out. And that's one of the reasons as a long-term cruiser, another reason I like Princess, because they have self-serve laundry facilities almost on every level of the ship. So whatever level you're on, if you look at the map, you'll see laundry services. Let's see. I'm scrolling up. How do you get coffee to your creamer? So I just go get the coffee from the buffet, because no matter when you put as much fufu creamer as I put in there, it's usually okay to just, you don't have to have fancy coffee. What time do you leave? Everyone on board was, I think, 2:30. So I'm not, to be honest with you, I'm not 100% sure. I don't ever pay attention to the schedule. So just when I have to be back on board the ship, you know, when you're on here all the time, like you just really don't pay attention to the schedule unless you're like, hey, I'd like to go to a show tonight, what's playing? Or I want to go watch a movie under the stars, what's playing? But normally I don't know the schedule. So I'm sorry. I'm a terrible person to give you information. Living out a carry-on bag, how often do you do laundry? So my carry-on, I actually have a link to it. If you go down in the description of this video, you'll see a link of the bag I use now, which is a pretty decent sized carry-on made by Level 8, which I love, by the way. I can fit, I probably have 10 shirts in there, 6 pair of shorts, 2 pair of long pants, 2 long sleeve shirts. So I actually have a lot of clothes. So usually about once every week to 10 days, depending on, you know, the good thing about merino wool is you can usually use it multiple times without it stinking. So if I have one of these black shirts on, I probably worn it a day or two. So yeah. If I wear one of my like linen shirts or something, I might wash that. Only wear that once, but. Sorry, I'm squinting so bad. It's cloudy, but it's bright. I think it's these white walls that are, you guys don't see them, but there's white walls right here. But then when I put these glasses on, it's like super dark. Let's see. Sorry, I'm scrolling up trying to get these questions here. Are there any other solo cruisers on board? Do they have solo meetup? Yeah, they have solo meetup. There are a lot of solo cruisers on Princess ship because it's so affordable for solos. But when you their solo program sucks. It's probably one of the worst in cruising, to be honest with you. And that's always been my biggest beef with Princess. It's completely dependent on the group of solo people that are on board. The ship does nothing to facilitate a solo experience, other than putting solo meetups in the Princess Patter, the daily schedule every day. But once one of those sucks, then no one ever shows up. So I've been to many of those where I've been the only person there. You have to go to the very first one and hope that people show up to it. But it's usually at a crappy time too on the first day. It's at 4 o'clock on the first sea day, which is a terrible time to do it as well, because that's during sail away. And so it's just, Princess is just terrible at it. You guys know I love Princess cruises. I've cruised on Princess more than any other ship, but their solo cruising sucks, other than the price. It sucks. All right, I'm scrolling back up, sorry. I know I've got 150 people in here. If you don't mind smashing that thumbs up, there's only 60. Helps more people find it. I'd appreciate it. Okay, let's see. They always stop in Puerto Vallarta on the Love Boat show. Yeah, I already read that one. Jameson's on NCL Epic, very cool. I love NCL. They've got the best solo program in my opinion. Considering the international issues and threats, do you have a plan in case things get crazy? Sideways, asked Lucretia. Lucretia, I'll be honest with you. The only place I feel unsafe in my travels is the United States. So I always am very vigilant in the United States, but almost everywhere I go in the world, especially when I'm in Asia, it's so much safer than the United States. And same when I pull in all these cruise ports, it's so much safer in the United States that I actually feel a lot more relaxed than I do in the United States. So the only place I'm ever like super vigilant is when I'm in the United States. Like today, like I didn't get harassed by a homeless guy, but there was a homeless guy out there with obviously mental health issues that was causing problems with other people. And you know, I've been port hopping to all these places that people are worried about. Like when Americans say Mexico is dangerous, like Mexico's a million times safer than the United States. Like it's not even close. Like I'd much rather retire in Mexico than retire in the United States. And it's way cheaper too. So, sorry, that's my, and by the way, how you doing, Lucretia? I haven't seen you in a while. I need to jump back on your channel, see what you're up to.
Once again, pretty easy to do. Visit your master section, watch with
All right, let's see.
listen to my announcement. Thank you for your attention and very
Even after 34 years of cruising, you taught me something about the cruise critic roll calls, very cool. But until you talked about it recently, I never knew about the Facebook roll calls. Yeah, Facebook roll calls are actually usually more well attended than the cruise critic ones. I actually have to go to one of those today. I don't know what time it is. I hope it's not early. Damn it. Happy to see you trimmed your beard. Thanks, Andrea. It's definitely a lot lighter. I need to keep it trimmed because it's so gray now. When it was like really jet black with a little gray in it, it looked pretty cool when it was thick. But now I just look like Santa Claus. It's so gray now. For my next, I want to be on one with less kids. My cruise I was on had kids running up and down. Yeah, I always tell people go on longer princess cruises, even shorter princess cruises. They have much less kids than most cruise lines. If you want almost absolutely no kids, Holland America. But princess is really close to no kids. Have you ever been on a Caribbean Princess? How was it? So I have been on Caribbean Princess. That was the only ship I ever got norovirus on. I got a whole video about it. I liked Caribbean Princess, but it's my least favorite of all the princess cruise ships I've been on. Maybe it was because I got norovirus on there, I don't know, but it had, for whatever reason, it just had a lot more kids as well on it. It does have a little kids area on it, so maybe people like to take their kids on that one. But it's not a bad cruise ship, it's just my least favorite of the princess cruise ships I've been on. Have I ever dated someone you met on a cruise? Asked Big Dave. I have. It was short-lived though. Like a lot of my dating life because I'm a full-time traveler. Does this ship have the Love Boat horn? No, the Ruby Princess, this class of ship does not have it. That's the new, whatever class Sky is, I think Regal class, that class and above is where you start getting the horn that, for those who don't know, it plays the Love Boat theme when it, when they pull the horn. Instead of it going, it actually plays the Love Boat theme when they pull the horn. It's pretty cool, actually. Planning another cruise out of Galveston, says Call Me V. Make sure you go to Cruise Plum, Cruise Plum. It's amazing, and you can search by the port of Galveston, and that's how you'll find the best deals. I'm actually thinking about buying a condo on the Strand in Galveston because you can walk to the cruise ships and it's really close to the two Houston airports. I'm actually thinking about buying a condo out of there and making that my home base. Plus Texas is very friendly to veterans. I wouldn't have to pay property tax, I believe, at a certain level or something. I don't know. I got to research it more. But yeah, I've actually been thinking about I've been looking at condos in Galveston. When you go to the solo meetup, are there other people in the lounge? How do you know who is solo? So usually they'll have it on this ship in this bar that there aren't a lot of people at, because it's kind of like off to the side, and you'll know who the solos are. Or you just walk in and say, "Hey, where's the solo group?" And everyone will raise their hand. Or anybody here for solo group? It's not that hard, to be honest with you. Sometimes they'll have it in weird places, and then you gotta, a lot of times, just ask the bartender. They'll know. Let's see. Someone said Disney has self-serve laundry as well. That's awesome. Disney's expensive though. I don't know if I can live on Disney for a while. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Kevin, I usually don't purchase Princess Plus, but if I did, would it be cheaper because of your loyalty level? No, it's not. I don't drink alcohol or soda anymore, so for me, Princess Plus makes no sense. It just costs too much a day to justify me getting it, even though they do pay gratuities, which are $16 a day, but the math still doesn't work for me. So you just have to figure out the math and see if it works for you. Hey, we've got 143 people in here. If you don't mind smashing that thumbs up button, I'd appreciate it. Let's see, what cruise line did you choose? Oh, you asked Jameson that question. I wonder if the Sphere class ships have the love boat horn. I would think they do. It's such a popular thing. I would think they would have kept that on there. Going on a cruise in 2 weeks, says Annie Shenanigans. Got family on the ship, but nobody in my room. Yay! I'm the same way. I like my space. When you go to solo meetups, I already answered that one from Anne. Let's see. Princess pools are always cold on the West Coast cruises. Will Enchanted Princess have warm pools? I have no idea. It's a good question there, Elise. I have no idea. Someone else might be able to answer that for you, though. If you were in charge, how would you design the solo program? Maybe Princess is watching. So I know Princess watches and just disregards me. So because actually they've given me an answer before. They said, well, if we have to do it for the solo group, then we have to do it for all the specialty groups. And I'm like, but the solo group isn't like it isn't a woman's group. It isn't an LGBTQ group. It's like a group that encompasses everybody. And it's a huge portion of your cruise ship. It's not a demographic. Anyway. If I was to do it, I would do it just like, I would just model it after NCL. I would assign someone that comes to the solo meetup and facilitates solo events. Like if at the very first meetup, someone was there from Princess and said, hey, we've got a special deal. Normally specialty dining is $29, but for solos, we're gonna do it on this day, the 28th, for $25 a person. How many of you want to sign up, and we'll make a table big enough for all of you? If there's 14 solos in there, I can guarantee you 10 of them sign up. So right there, you just sold 10 spots that you might not have sold, because I wouldn't buy it unless it was associated with something like that. Another thing is maybe have a pub crawl with solos. Usually the ships have 3 or 4, or actually more than that, like 5 or 6 bars. And like me, someone who doesn't normally drink, if they had a solo pub crawl, I would do it. I'd go to the different bars, and I'd get a drink in each bar, sit around, chat with the people, and then move on to the next venue. That's how NCL does it. And like, I can just see the way NCL does it. It's like a revenue generator for them. Like, they know if they're there, if they provide a host or a hostess, and they facilitate fun for the solos, they can upsell them like crazy. And they would definitely upsell me. I would do it every cruise I'm on. I would drink more alcohol. I would go to more specialty events. They could do it for excursions as well. Like, hey, here's 3 excursions that we blocked out these solo spots to. We'll give you a 5% discount or something like that. Guarantee you they'd fill up. So that's how, if I was going to facilitate it, that's how I would do it. And to be honest with you, they don't have to look, just hire someone from NCL that facilitates it. There's a bazillion people on it. There's a bazillion ships in NCL, and all of them have really good solo programs. I've seen it on a couple ships on NCL, on MSC as well, although it's hit or miss. Some ships have that similar NCL experience, some don't. Princess is by far the worst, though, by far. It's not even close. And what sucks about that is they're the second most affordable cruise line for solo cruising. MSC is probably the most affordable. So they're getting a lot of solos because of that, but they're missing out on an opportunity. So just my humble opinion. I could go on and on about that. Let's see, I'm trying to get down on this thing here. I gave up on the condo in FLL. Yeah, to be honest with you, you can just get a lot better condo in Galveston. And they have a lot of like lofts and like buildings from the 1800s, which is like kind of my style. Since the norovirus, have you attempted the French onion soup again? I have not. So I don't know if the French onion soup caused my norovirus, but I had eaten it right before. And so I was tasting French onion soup on the other way out for like 2.5 days during my bout with norovirus. So like I can't even think about it without getting queasy. Kevin, do you still frequent the casino? So I talked about that in my video 2 videos ago. I did a video about how much it cost me to live on a cruise ship for a month. And I have a whole spiel about that. I don't really go to the casino and spend any of my money, but what I do is I go down there and I spend free play. Like I have 100 free play on this ship. Anything that I win with the free play, and then at the end of my cruise, 2 days before the end of my cruise, I put in whatever onboard credit I have remaining, I'll put in the casino, and anything I win from that. So that's how I've stayed in the casino system, although recently I've been falling out of free cruises. There's only a few left on my Princess app. So I got a feeling I'm gonna fall out of it because I've done all these cruises and I haven't really lost any money other than the money from my free play. So we'll see. But I mean, I got the cruise like 9 months for free out of it. For free cruise fare. I still have to pay taxes, port fees, gratuities, and put down a deposit. But if you want to know more about that, go watch my video on how much it cost me to live on a cruise ship for 30 days. I think it was 2 or 3 videos ago. Sorry, there's a lot of you in here. I'm trying to scroll up and get these messages here. If I missed your question, please ask it again. Liz says, finally made it on board Ruby. Are you on board right now, Liz? Come over to this side and say hi. I'm on the 16th deck. So if you go all the way to the aft pool through the buffet, and you got the very pool on the very back of the ship, and you walk up the steps, walk up the ladder, if you're in the Navy. People have been giving me crap about that. Walk up, one level, and go on the left side as you go up the stairs, and come down that bridge wing, which is on the ocean side. You won't see the buildings. I'm over here. If you want to come up here and say hi. Hey, Jared Mutter's in the house. Me and Jared served on many Navy ships together in the Navy. One of my shipmates from my Navy days. All right. Calvin says, hey, Kevin, tuning in. Do you ever miss or think about van life? All the time, man. I answered this question on you're asking a van life question again. I miss van life all the time, Calvin. And it's something I'm going to integrate into my travel. I've been looking for Honda Elements to build out. They're getting much cheaper than they used to be, so I'm super excited about that. My last time on Caribbean Princess was the one which you got Nora, and so did I. Bummer because it prevented us from meeting up. My sons are on Caribbean Princess right now and having fun. Yeah, I don't think Caribbean Princess is a bad ship. You know, you're going to get norovirus. If you go on ships long enough, I don't care what cruise line you're on, you're going to get norovirus. So it's just one of those things. How much sunscreen have you been through? A lot. And I buy the really good stuff because I've had skin cancer before. I can't remember the name of it. It's like It's not prescription, but it's, if you go to like what is the #1 sunscreen that dermatologists recommend, and I don't mean like one of those cheesy commercials, but like one that they actually like recommend. It's always the #1, and it's a little bit more expensive. You can get it on Amazon though, and so I have a bunch of those with me because they come in these little small ones, which I like the small ones because they're just easy to pack, and I have a bunch of them. I went to like 2 or 3 of them, but to be honest with you, I just try to stay out of the sun. Ooh, there's a lot of you in here, man. The chat is flying by. Going Green Mom's in the house. What's going on? How you doing? Thanks for moderating. You're the best. Getting my pre-tan in the next week, says Ann Shenanigans. Let's see, okay. The Celebrity Ascent has facilitated solo meetups, boarding day, and arranged dinners. They were great, yeah. If you have, sometimes you have cruisers that do that, that organize that stuff. Like Andrea on here did, who's in the chat right now, and I went to her dinners with her. I hardly ever go to the main dining room, but she had a table with solo cruisers, so I would go with her. And also, oh God, what's his name? I think James. I was on the Ruby, and he would organize these huge lunches for solos. So it just depends. Sometimes you have people in the solo group that will do that. Take a look at Virgin. Yeah, I want to try Virgin for sure. How's the Wi-Fi on board? Is the ship connected to Starlink? Yeah, all Princess ships are Starlink now. And you can I watch Netflix and Hulu every night before I go to bed, and I watch YouTube. Now, it's not good for uploading YouTube videos, but it does work really well for just streaming. So, and for getting your texts and all that kind of stuff. We're in Costa Maya, says Cheryl. We had a transatlantic cruise, then cruised to the Caribbean. Very cool. When you cruise solo, do you pay taxes and gratuities for 2 or 1? You pay for 1. That's why actually solos benefit more from casino deals than, it's the only spot where we beat out the couples. Because if you're solo, you're only paying gratuities for 1 person. And if you're getting your cruise fare for free, but if you're a couple, you're paying gratuities and that stuff for 2. I was on NCL, but never went to the solo meetups. The time they did them was not convenient for me. Yeah, they're good. You should find the best Airbnbs in different areas. Yeah, Jared, I'll be doing a lot of Airbnb being soon. I've actually booked a bunch of Airbnbs in Thailand, Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, the beach in Thailand, Bangkok, all over the place.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome aboard beautiful Ruby Princess. Nikki, cruise director.
With all the hours you've logged, asked Judith, with all the hours you've logged cruising, have you developed new skills such as giant, Jenga, or putting the 19th deck, or putting on the 19th deck of the ship? Nah, I still suck at those. I should work on my short game on this ship. A bunch of Navy warships are getting Starlink as well. That's amazing. That's cool. Star Princess has casino offers for August 2025. Booked interior. Very cool, very cool. For those who don't know, Star is the new ship. How far out do you book your cruises? Usually a few months out. I don't book years out like a lot of people do. Just a few months. Megan, I'm with you on tiny homes. Okay, tiny homes. I love a good tiny home. Cruising for One says I was on a Caribbean Princess in January. Was I on in January with you? I know I was on a ship with you, but I don't know if it was Caribbean Princess. Let's see. We'll be on the Island Princess, says William, in May, and Regal Princess in December. I've been on both Regal and Island, and I like them both. I spent 33 days on Island. I loved Island. Now the sunscreen I have is like, it's some like, it starts with an E. It's some like fancy name. It's not anything like Blue Lizard or like Koala Bear. It's like almost like a prescription type of name. I can't remember the name of it though. I'm terrible at remembering stuff like that. All right, if I missed your question, ask it again. I didn't miss it on purpose. It's hard for me to keep up with the scrolling on my phone here. Do you use a VPN to watch streaming media? No, not underway, because usually it'll be linked out of the United States, so you don't really have to. But when I'm traveling in other ways, I do have a VPN. Occasionally you'll run into that issue, but if you have service like Netflix and Disney Plus, they'll work in other countries. You'll just get different content, which sometimes is a good thing because you'll get more. Like Disney Plus is way better overseas than it is in the United States. Given the arrival of spring, are you seeing an uptick in the number of passengers, or is it about the same? So it's actually almost all the cruises I've been on been almost full. So, and I was going before spring, and I haven't seen any uptick. It's been full regardless. So I think cruising is just back and people are cruising. It's spring break now, so we'll see if there's a lot more kids on here, but this is a 15-day cruise, so I don't expect it. Elta, there it is. Elta MD sunscreen, that's what I use, Elta MD, that's it. It's really good for your face. That's why I like it, because it like, a lot of sunscreen, I don't like the way it makes my face feel, and that one's pretty good. Elta MD, that's it. Do I have a favorite Thai beach? I mean, to be honest with you, just any beach in the islands, because it's going to be crystal clear blue water. I can't think of any names off the top of my head, but any of the islands you go to, the beach is going to be awesome. I mean, the island right off Jom Tien and Pattaya Beach, there's an island there. I can't remember the name of it, Koh Tao maybe. That water is like amazingly beautiful. Although if you're on my Instagram or you look at my recent short story, look at how crystal clear blue the water is in Bonaire. Go to that short I did, and if you follow me on Instagram at 30 to Wake Up, you'll see me post stuff like that. It's probably already off my shorts thing by now, but if you go on my shorts here on YouTube, you'll see the crystal clear blue water in Bonaire. I have my feet in it, and I mean, that water that I have my feet in, where you can see the bottom, it's probably 10 feet of water. But it only looks like it's like 2 feet deep because you can see the bottom, but it's so crystal clear. Where was your skin cancer? It was right here on my forehead. I had a really good doctor and plastic surgeon. It was when I was in New York, and they just basically, the scars, like, if you really know where to look for it, you'll see it, but they put it in my like forehead, laugh lines. They actually did a really good job. It's a scar about that big. It's a pretty big scar. I just recently got screened again for skin cancer, and I was worried about a couple of spots I have, but the doctor said it wasn't skin cancer, so. How bad is the lake level in Panama? So I didn't notice a difference, although we did, if you watch that video, my last Panama Canal live stream, you'll see like 2 gators, one huge, I guess those are crocodiles, not gators. You'll see 2 huge crocodiles, well, actually one medium-sized one and one ginormous one, sunbathing on the little boat ramps there. And maybe the water is down in that area, I don't know. I didn't notice it though, but I've heard that they are having issues, but I didn't notice a difference. Have you been on Enchanted looking at the 10-day late next on her? I have not. I need to look at that. I like Enchanted Princess. I was on Enchanted with my mother. It's one of my favorite, actually. It's right up there. It could be number 1. It's very similar to Sky, but I like it better than Sky. It just seemed, I don't know, clean, a little bit cleaner than Sky. Sky's clean, but it just seemed even more. Maybe it's newer. I don't know. Hate to say it, but a bunch of young people have walked by. I don't know. I don't think there's been any young people. It's been mostly older people, or I haven't seen. Oh, you know what? You're right. I did see some kids walk by, some teenagers. But I also am next to the teenage center. It's like right over here. So they might have been, it might be, you're seeing a lot of teenagers, because I haven't really noticed, but because we're right by the teenage youth center or whatever, where they have like all the video games and skee ball and stuff like that. How are video upload speeds? They're terrible. They're terrible. But I still upload. A lot of times what I'll do is, so I have T-Mobile, and I get the international pass, which is $50 for the month, and it gets me 50 gigabytes of high-speed data. That's how I do the live streams in foreign countries. So a lot of times I'll use that to upload video, or I'll wait till I'm in like, so with T-Mobile you get high-speed 5G in United States, Canada, and in Mexico, which is where I'm going to be cruising out of a lot now. So I probably won't have to pay to have that. But I do, so when I do a video, I usually shoot it in 4K and save it in 4K, and it'll be a bunch of gigabytes, probably 8 to 10 gigabyte when I'm done with it. And if I'm in port like this, I would just upload it here. But if I'm at sea, I'll save it as a 1080p file. So it's still high def, but not as good as 4K. Then it'll be 1 to 2 gigabytes. And I'll upload it at sea like that. And it'll take like 15 hours to upload. I usually start it like 5 o'clock at night. And when I wake up the next morning, it'll be uploaded. So that's usually how I do it. So it takes forever. Let's see.
Oh, we're in this picture. Sorry.
No, you're fine. Are you leaving Fort Lauderdale, my hometown? Yeah, we're cruising out of Fort Lauderdale. We're doing a what would this be called? I mean, we're doing a Panama Canal cruise, but this is a relocation cruise, a repositioning cruise for this ship. Eventually, this cruise, it ends in LA, but eventually this cruise ship will be cruising out of Vancouver. For those who don't know, I'm on this ship for 103 days. I've already been on for 40-something days. I have 59 more to go. And we're going to do a Panama Canal cruise, and we're going to do a West Coast wine cruise up to Vancouver. And we're going to go from Vancouver to Hawaii and back. And then out of Vancouver, we're going to start doing Alaskan cruises, and I'll be on here 21 days for that. 21 days of Alaskan cruising. But yeah, we're in Fort Lauderdale today. Cruising out of here. Actually, the sun's starting to poke its head out. You'll see a bunch of cruise ships over here. You'll see Celebrity, actually 3 Celebrity ships are in port today. No, 2 in one Holland America. This Princess, there's no Disney in here today. There's no Disney ship here today, but there are a bunch in today because it's a Saturday, you know. Do you partake in any of the shore excursions? I usually don't get shore excursions. I just walk off the ship. I'm kind of famous for that. I got a bunch of videos about how to, you know, for each port, like what to do when you just walk off the ship. I usually don't do excursions for a couple different reasons. Number one, I don't like people controlling my time. And a lot of times the excursions will be, well, some of them are good, but some of them will be super boring and they take forever. And then you're just stuck, you know? And so I usually like to go out and find my own trouble, get in my own trouble. And the other reason is they're usually way overpriced. Occasionally I'll do one if it's super interesting to me, like if it's some kind of scuba diving expedition that looks really cool, or some sort of like climb the tallest peak in that area or something like that, one of those Discovery Channel or National Geographic, Nat Geo things, I'll do it. I am doing one in Astoria because I'm a huge fan of Goonies, and they have like a movie set tour. So I did sign up for that one. So I will be doing an excursion on this 103 days, but that's the only one I usually do. That's the only one I'm doing. I don't know, you need to get spots checked. I've gotten moles all over. I just go in and see a dermatologist. I mean, your health plan should cover that. And even if not, usually a screening is pretty affordable. So just go in there and they'll just look at everything. I've had skin cancer, so obviously I do it annually. My skin cancer was basically a scrape on my skin that just wouldn't heal, wouldn't go away. And I had it for like months and months. Finally, I went and had to check that out. Checked out, and it was skin cancer. It was the best kind of skin cancer to get, though, basal cell skin cancer, which is usually not fatal under any circumstance. So, have you been to St. Kitts? Yeah, I was just in St. Kitts a few days ago, actually. We're planning to hike the volcano. I didn't hike the volcano, but that sounds like a really fun thing to do there. Other cruise lines are quickly changing itineraries. Yeah, I haven't heard. I mean, I did three back to back to back in and out Panama Canal cruises, and now I'm doing another one. So fourth one in a month and a half. So, I mean, this ship's been able to do it. So I'm not 100% sure, to be honest with you, on whether or not ships are able to do it or why they're canceling. Virgin's new ship leaves from San Juan, would be willing to do a trip on that. And they said solo is amazing on Virgin. Yeah, I'm looking forward to trying it. There's also no kids allowed on Virgin, which I really like. Andrea said, it sucks having fair skin. Yeah. I mean, I may not look like it because people think I'm dark complected, but I actually have pretty fair skin. I'm Irish. So a huge portion of me is Irish. And what's called Black Irish, if you've ever heard of that before. Do you partake in, nope, I already answered that. Let's see. I love Disney too. It's my first cruise line I tried. Yeah, I need to try Disney. I have a friend that cruises nothing but Disney. She's on Disney cruises, I mean, at least one a month. She's on Disney cruises all the time. Which cruise is your favorite and where did you go? Jane, my favorite cruise was my 33-day Fire and Ice cruise that went up to Halifax and then circled around Iceland going to Reykjavik, but also 3 small fishing villages in some of the Icelandic fjords, which was amazing. You have to go on a ship that's small enough to do that. And then we went up to Norway, the top of Norway though, not the inside of Norway. And we went through all the Norwegian fjords. That was by far my favorite cruise. I'd do that one again in a heartbeat. Taking a Princess cruise for 10 days, 6 ports in April. Very cool. That should be a lot of fun there, Stephen. Joe will be on Sky. I love Sky. I spent a lot of time on Sky. Anne had melanoma. Yeah, that's the bad one. So glad that you're better now. Yeah, my spot was teeny tiny, but they had to, I mean, I had a scar. I mean, I have a scar this big right here. Can't see it because they put it into my like wrinkles on my forehead, but it's about this big, because it's like the doctor described it as like a potato with a bunch of like things growing off of it. Like if you leave a potato for a long time, it has a bunch of like arms growing off of it. So a little bit of it, it'll be above the skin. It's kind of like an iceberg. You described that too, but most of it will be under the skin. It'll be much bigger. So yeah, you gotta take care of that for sure. How long does it take for a cruise ship to clear all the Panama Canal docks? So you do 3 on the way in, 3 on the way out. It's about an hour and a half, 2 hours each way, each one. Captain Photon in the house, what's going on? Enjoy your wine cruise. My wine cruise is my next cruise. This is a Panama Canal cruise. Capricious Jen says, I'm Irish, half Thai, half Irish, very cool. Do you live in Thailand? I don't know if you know this, but I spent a lot of time in Thailand. I have a 20-year visa, 20-year Thai leave visa, so I can kind of come and go as I please. I love Thailand. I'm going to be there in May, getting a bunch of dental work done. Oh, I'm about to sneeze. Ooh, sorry. We're in Florida. I always have allergies in Florida. I have really bad allergies, by the way. How long does a cruise ship? Oh, I already read that one. Do you still use Google Fi? No, I use T-Mobile. T-Mobile is almost exactly like Google Fi. I just found that there's less of a chance they'll shut me off, where Google Fi shut me off after a year out of country. And I didn't have that issue with T-Mobile. And another thing I like about T-Mobile is I can get an international pass with them. And so, yeah, I've been sticking with T-Mobile. And supposedly they're going to be partnering up with Starlink. And man, if that happens, that'll be amazing. Where will the ship be on Monday, April 8th? I have no idea because I never know the schedule. I don't even know what day it is. What day is today? I don't even know what today is. I have no idea. I should figure that out. Have I bought anything souvenir-wise? Nah, I don't ever buy things. I travel carry-on only, so can't afford to buy too many things. Hey Kevin, I got an awesome casino deal on Discovery Princess California Wine Country, 1997 for a suite for 3 people. That's pretty awesome. Hey, if I missed your question, go ahead and throw it out there again. I'm sorry about that. My thing won't let me scroll up anymore. There's 134 of you in here. If you don't mind smashing that thumbs up button, if you just came in, I'd appreciate it. For those who are just joining, maybe haven't watched me before, I am on the Ruby Princess. I have been on here for going on 50 days now. I'm going to be on here a total of 103 days. I got 59 more days to go. We are getting ready to reposition. We're moving from Fort Lauderdale to cruising out of Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, pretty soon. But this cruise will end in LA, but then we take another cruise up to Vancouver. And from Vancouver, we go to Hawaii, back to Vancouver, and then we start a Alaskan cruise. So I'm super excited about it. Question from Javaholic. I like that name. Oh, someone asked me first before this one. Do you prefer a balcony cabin? No, I prefer an inside cabin, to be honest with you. The biggest reason is they're more affordable and they're great for sleeping because it's like a cave in there. It's super dark at night and it gets super cold. I understand why people like balconies, but like I don't spend a lot of time in my cabin, so I always have a balcony. Like I have a balcony right now, you know? And so for me, it just doesn't make financial sense to book balconies because I just don't use them. So I just don't take advantage of them enough. But if I knew I was going to spend a lot of time in my room, then I would get one. Do you partake in formal nights on board? No, I avoid formal nights like the plague. I hate. You must be new to my channel. I hate putting on pants. So I'm almost always in shorts like these. Shorts and a t-shirt. And I only put on pants when they make me, or Andrea Gold, who is in this chat, or Judith, who is also in this chat, invite me to go to the main dining room. Then I'll throw on pants and a collared shirt. But I did not bring a sport coat this time. Normally, like when I was with my mother cruising, I travel with a sport coat because she likes to go to formal nights. So I'll have a sport coat so I can dress it up and do formal night. But normally, I stay above the 15th deck on formal night. That's the pool area and where the buffet is. And so I usually hide out up there during formal night. And I know I can walk around the ship in shorts and flip-flops on formal night if I want, but I don't want to. I want people to enjoy their formal night and to be around a bunch of other people that are enjoying it. So I try not to be around because I don't want to take them out of the experience by me walking around in my flip-flops and stuff. NASA spotted those legs from, yeah, I do got some white legs right now. Although I do got a pretty good flip-flop tan going right now. I'm looking at the level 8 26 bag, but concerned about how much it weighs since I tend to overpack. I think it's pretty light. Like when you get it, you're actually going to be like, oh, this bag seems very flimsy, but it's actually really not because of the way the fiber that they use for the different for the sides of the bag or whatever. It's actually not too. It's actually really sturdy, but the bag is pretty light. I would say it weighs whatever a normal bag weighs. I mean, it's not carbon fiber or anything like that, or titanium, but it's pretty light. It's like aluminum. All the metal's aluminum. I think it's pretty light. Why is your channel called 30 and a Wake Up? Good question. A lot of times I get those mean comments that say, man, you look really old for 30. And I'm not 30. I'm much closer to 50 than I am 40. I'm in my late 40s. So I was in the United States Navy for 20 years. And when you go on a military deployment, you have a countdown. So let's say you're going on a deployment for 180 days and you have 100 days left. You would say I have 99 days and a wake up left. It just makes it seem like less days, and so that's what you say. When I first started this YouTube channel, for those that have been following me a super long time, I used to live in a different country every 30 days. So every 30 days I would wake up somewhere new. So it kind of tied my new life together with my old life, which was the military, my new travel life to my old travel life. So that's why it's called 30 and a Wake Up. Doesn't make a lot of sense now, and I've thought about changing it, but people have told me, we don't want you to change it because we just like 30 and a Wake Up. I thought about changing it to my name, but I have a very common name. There's like 3 or 4 of them already on YouTube. And so I just kept it 30 and a Wake Up. And yeah. It's been a while since someone asked me that question. I booked the Sun Princess for November. Very cool. I need to check it out. I definitely want to get on Sun. Princess never invites me to the cruise vlogger cruises. Like they just have one on Sun. And all I'm saying is I got more subscribers and I've gotten way more Princess views than a lot of the people they invited to that. I have a lot more Princess content and a lot more views for Princess content than some of the people they invited. I'm just saying. I don't expect them to do anything, but I did notice there were a lot of cruise vloggers on there that don't do much Princess content. And I do a lot of Princess content and I have more views than a lot of people who do just Princess content. So I'm not bitter, but they did get an early look at Sun and I would have enjoyed that. Did you ever replace your shoes? No, not yet, but I will soon. I've only been on one cruise, 1992 Caribbean. Heard the cabins next to the elevators, like the hotels, are noisier. You know, I'd never noticed that. I've been next to the elevators before and I didn't notice it, but maybe. I mean, if you're worried about that when you go and book your cruise, just look, when you go to book your cruise cabin to pick it, you'll see the whole layout and just pick it somewhere in the middle of where all the stuff is, you know? But I've never had an issue with that. Like a lot of people have said stuff about that, but I've never had an issue. But I also lived on U.S. Navy ships for 20 years and they're much noisier. I mean, aircraft carriers are landing planes on top of them. And so for me, it's pretty quiet. But formal night seemed like a great time to do laundry, yeah. The Princess Pizza is pretty legendary. How do you rank the pizza against the other lines you've cruised? I'd probably say Princess is the best, especially if it's got an Alfredo's on board. Like this ship does not have an Alfredo's, but if it's got an Alfredo's pizza, which I believe is still included with your cruise fare, you can still eat there for free. Princess has been changing a lot of things, so maybe they charge now, but it used to be free. And that pizza is really good. The pizza on the pizza that you get on the pool deck is also really good as well, but the one at Alfredo's is even better. Both of them are really good. The only one I would say that's even close is MSC. MSC has some pretty good pizza. It's an Italian cruise line, so they should, right? But yeah, that's the only one that's even close to as good.
The general emergency alert is about to be sounded for exercise purposes only. You will hear 7 short blasts followed by 1
Doodles Academy says, do not change your channel.
The service on board will be briefly suspended during the
I won't change it. It's too much of a pain in the ass now. They sent me that plaque that said, congratulations on 100 subscribers starting to wake up. You know, YouTube sent me that. And then they gave me the little blue check now, you know, on my YouTube channel. They verified me as like a person who really does have 100,000 subscribers and not like bot subscribers. And if I change my name, I have to go through that verification process all over again, and it's a huge pain in the rear end. So I probably won't change just for that reason alone. Are you sure they knew how to reach you? You should have been there. Are you sure they knew how to reach you? Oh, they know how to reach me. They're one time their social media or director reached out to me and told me to send her an email, and I sent her an email and she never emailed me back. I sent her an email basically saying, hey, like I don't take anything from cruise lines because they were offering me something. I said I want to stay impartial, so I just cruise like anybody else cruises. And you know, obviously I'm elite on here, so I'm going to get my elite perks because I'm elite, but that's what any cruiser would do. And that I didn't want any perks or deals on cruises, and I don't do content in exchange for stuff. And then she never contacted me back after I said that. So yeah, I think they were like, this guy's a jerk. Even though I say nothing but good things about Princess except for their solo program, which really sucks. Maybe that's why they don't. And I don't fault any cruise logger that takes free stuff from cruise lines. I just have never taken free stuff from anybody except for Unbound Moreno, but that was after 2 years of me wearing it and people always going and buying their stuff because I always talked about it, and they said they would give me and my audience a discount code. That's the only thing I've ever done like that. And then obviously I do Amazon links, but that's stuff that I use. Like it's stuff I use and like believe in. But I don't take stuff from cruise lines or travel companies. Even Remote Year offered to let me travel for free with them to do videos. But I don't like having a boss either. I don't like someone telling me what I got to do with my videos. So like if I don't want to make a video for 8 months like I did before, I ain't going to make a video. So, and I'm not faulting other cruise vloggers for doing that, but I don't want to have to put one of those things that say, this is a paid sponsorship. I don't want to put that in my videos, and you have to do that if you're doing it the right way. You have to Like if a cruise line is paying for your cruise, you're supposed to put that you're getting that so people know that, because that may tend to like influence your opinion. And I'm not saying it does everybody. There are probably people that take the cruise lines up on free cruises and influence their opinion, but I would have liked to have went to the vlogger cruise because you get on there before everybody else does. And I think that would have been cool. I probably would have took that for free, but they didn't invite me, so. But I do dog them for their solo program, so that's probably why. Maybe you're hurting the bottom line with your casino deals, probably. Kevin, did you pick up any cool dance moves? Man, I picked up all kinds of cool dance moves on here. I always try to go to the dance classes on board, but now they're almost always line dance classes, which is not the kind of dancing I'm trying to learn. I want to learn like Latin dances. MSC has awesome pizza. I've not had it on Princess, so I cannot compare. So if you go to a Princess ship, make sure it's one with Alfredos on it if you're going for the pizza, because that's the pizza that everyone is always talking about. The pizza on the pool deck is good too, as is Salty Dog Grill. I love this hat here, by the way. I have this Salty Dog Grill hat. It's got the little Princess logo on the back. But you know what's crazy about this is people always think I work for Princess. You have no idea how often people come up to me and ask me a question about the ship, thinking I'm staff. And usually I say, I don't know. I go, I don't know. And they'll be like, don't you work here? And I'm like, no, I don't work here. Today I was at Publix getting my coffee creamer, and someone came up to me and asked me a question about getting to the ship. Or about like something about boarding on the ship or something. And I was like, oh, I don't know. Because I never know any of that stuff. I don't pay attention to it. They said, don't you work there? And I'm like, no, I don't work there. And they're like, oh, okay. But I know why. I know why, because I had this hat on and it's got the Princess logo on the back. So, but I mean, I'm wearing shorts and a t-shirt. Like, I don't know. But yeah, it's a Salty Dog Grill. It's got the little Salty Dog with his rain poncho hat on. I really like it. What do you typically broadcast your Amazon live streams? I don't do Amazon live streams. Some people do those Amazon live streams. I don't do those. I do have videos like a packing video that'll list Amazon stuff in the description. And then I have a video that I did recently about like 5 unique items to bring on a cruise ship that I did, and it'll have links to stuff on there. That one's been really successful, especially for this wallet, because Princess has these medallions, and this wallet has a medallion, and it magnets to the back of an iPhone, like really hardcore magnets to it, so it doesn't come off, and it's also a wallet. And so then when you leave your room, you only have to grab your phone, and then you have everything, your phone, your wallet, and your medallion. And I showed that in a video. I've sold like thousands of dollars of these. The person who runs this store should be thanking me, because I barely get any money for it, but they've sold hundreds of these now. But I love these. I love this wallet, this phone wallet. The only reason it's not on my phone right now is because I'm using my phone to do this live stream. But yeah, that video was really successful because it sold a ton of these on Amazon. Kevin, Spain in 2025. I'd love to do Spain in 2025. The Spring Break is a ship full of teens. The last ship it wasn't. Princess doesn't have a whole lot of kids on board. Although when I was on Caribbean Princess last spring, they had a lot of kids on board. This ship is Ruby Princess, and they're doing a 15-day Panama Canal cruise that ends in LA. So I would think that maybe not, unless there's a bunch of people from California that flew here. There's probably going to be more than usual, but probably not a ton. Are you going to ever do a group cruise? I would sneak on board someone else's group cruise probably. There was a couple. I was supposed to try to get on some of Let's Go Travel Tips cruises. They've invited me on some. I mean, not that they would pay for me. I'd pay for my own cruise. So I'll probably take them up on that in the future and be on one of theirs. But I would never organize my own, because if you've been watching my channel before, you'd know I like to do what I want when I want. And I'd feel like I was responsible for your cruise experience. And I don't want to do that. So I have no desire to organize other people's cruise adventure. There are other people that probably be way better at it than me. If you don't know, when I was in the Navy, I was a command master chief, and that was actually part of my job, like logistically getting the crew to the ship and making sure they had a place to stay and all the logistics of that. And I never want to do that. I never want to herd cats again. So I would never do it, but I would jump on somebody else's and, you know, tell everybody, hey, I'm going on Let's Go Travel Tips group cruise, and then if you wanted to join because I was on there, you know, more power to you. But I would never do that myself. Do I have a favorite shipboard activity? Do I have a favorite? Probably trivia. I love the trivia on board, Jen. Any chance we can get footage of you doing Latin dances? Maybe. Once I get better. It's been fun to go to an 8-year-old's birthday party. Safe travels, Kevin. Enjoy your 8-year-old's birthday party. Hey, Kevin from New Mexico. We did an 18-day repositioning cruise on the Ruby last year, Galveston to San Francisco. Very cool, Emily. Hey, that's my buddy Emily. My travel buddy Emily. Yeah, I did Ruby last year too, but it was from San Francisco to Galveston. So I did the one before the one you did. How long did it take you to feel comfortable vlogging on board? Did you ever feel awkward doing it? So, if you notice, my vlogs almost never have people in them. I'm not the get out and like film a bunch of people along with mine. If like even these live streams, I try to get out of the way. Like I'm kind of out of the way. You know, I'm not in one of the heavily trafficked areas. I try to get out of the way so I don't, you know, disturb people. So that's the way I want around that. Yeah, that's why I don't do a lot of like vlogging in restaurants and stuff unless I remember to bring this microphone with me, and then I can talk quiet like this and the microphone will still pick it up. And in post, I can raise the volume if I need to, but I don't have to talk like super loud in order to and disturb other people's vacation. So I don't do a lot of that, but that's just me. But I always tell people, the more you do something, the better you get at it. And it's the same with vlogging. Just start doing it and you'll get better at it. What do you think of cruise ship to travel to Asia long term? I hate long flights. I love it. I love transatlantic, trans-Pacific cruises as a way to avoid long flights. And to be honest with you, they cost about the same as a first class ticket, as a business class ticket, so you might as well do that and not have any jet lag and go over in comfort and see some beautiful things along the way, especially them trans-Pacifics where you're stopping in Tahiti, America Samoa, Micronesia, some Pago Pago, some awesome places. So I love it. Singapore Trans-Pacific, we'll pretend it's a group cruise. We'll know quite a few. Which one is that? Is that the Carnival one or the Princess one? I think that's the Carnival one. Other than merino wool, what type of shirts do you travel with? I have this one. I brought some linen button-up shirts, like a white one and a blue one, because I'm going to be in tropical climates. And then I bought a couple of long sleeve shirts for Alaska, and I bought them at Walmart. They were really cheap, and I'll just throw them away when I leave. link to the wallet. The wallet is down in the description below. Actually, not. I don't think it's in this video. You have to go to my video, 5 Unusual Things to Take on a Cruise, I think is what it's called. It's like 3 or 4 videos ago. It's my most viewed video since I started cruising again. It's got like 50,000 views. So, and there'll be a link for it in there. I don't have a link in this video. I have a link for, I should just put an Amazon link thing. I need to do that in the future. Hey, if I missed your question, ask it again. It's not letting me scroll back up anymore. And if you're just joining the live chat, greetings from Fort Lauderdale, beautiful Fort Lauderdale here, although it's kind of a little rainy, cloudy day. I'm on the Ruby Princess, if you didn't know. I'm gonna be on the ship for 103 days. I've already been on 40 something days. I have 59 more to go. Today we're leaving Fort Lauderdale, doing a repositioning cruise. We are going to 5 ports, I believe, in this Panama Canal cruise, a couple in Mexico, Panama, Costa Rica, Colombia, and then we are headed to, then we'll pull into LA, and then we'll do a West Coast wine cruise from LA to Vancouver, and then we'll do a Hawaiian cruise from Vancouver to Hawaii, and we'll be home ported out of Vancouver. We'll do a bunch of Alaskan cruises out of there. So that's what's going on. If you don't know about my YouTube channel, I've been traveling since 2019. Every year I travel a different way. My first year, I traveled on a program called Remote Year, where I lived in a different country every 30 days. I did that for a year, traveled with the same group, same 35 people. After that ended, COVID hit. I bought an RV, a van, a Winnebago Travado, and I traveled across the United States for a little bit over a year in that, and also a Storyteller Overland van as well for a month. And then I hopped on a plane to Thailand, and I bought a motorbike, and I motorbiked throughout Thailand for a year. And then I flew back to the United States, and I started running around on cruise ships. I've been doing it for a year, although I did take a 3-month break to help my mother out. But I've got over 300 days cruising since since December of 2022. I've got 200 days, over 200 days on Princess. So yeah, I'm loving life. That gets everyone caught up who just joined the live stream or don't know much about my channel. Fred's Model 3 and says, do you keep a spare phone to vlog just in case this one goes to the crap or falls overboard? Nah, I would just use my Apple Care and go to an Apple store somewhere and get another one. Yeah, I travel very light. I travel carry-on only, so like every time when you add too many backups, it just creates too much stuff. So I don't, but I would just go buy a new one. Have you cruised with Virgin Voyages? No, but I definitely want to. One thing that really appeals to me about Virgin is there's no kids, and I always say, it's not that I don't like kids, I just don't like kids on my cruises. In your opinion, T-Mobile the best phone service as opposed to Verizon? T-Mobile is way better than Verizon if you're a traveler. Because number one, you have coverage. It's just like you have coverage in every country for free. You have 3G coverage, so 256 kbps or whatever. So any country you go to, you're gonna have phone service. So you'll be able to make a phone call, although that will be 25 cents a minute or something. But you'll have data in every country you go to, so you'll be able to send text, you'll be able to look at Google Maps, all that kind of stuff. And that's like $50 a month for that, like that kind of plan. It also has unlimited 5G in Mexico, Canada, and the United States. So anytime you're in Canada or United States, which is a place a lot of cruise ships cruise out of or go to, you won't even need an international high-speed plan if you want one. If you go to places that don't have high speed, you can pay $50 for the month, and you can get 15 gigabytes for the month, which is a lot. It's not a lot if you're uploading videos like me, but it's a lot for the normal person. So then you'll pay $100 a month and you'll have high-speed data, which can be expensive to some people. Or you can pay $85 total and only get 5 gigabytes if you're not going to use a lot of data. Check your phone, see how much data you use a month, and you can just get their international plan, which is $85. Then you have 5G everywhere you go in the world. So it's a pretty amazing phone plan. Verizon is ridiculously expensive for international, and so is AT&T. They both suck. They have these daily passes and stuff like that. It's super expensive. They both suck. T-Mobile is the only one that's decent, other than Google Fi. And then a lot of people will just do, if they're staying longer in places, they'll get SIM cards in the foreign country. But if you're cruising, T-Mobile to me is the best option. Yeah, and T-Mobile's also working with Starlink, so hopefully someday T-Mobile will have coverage all over the world, even on the ocean. Have I ever been on a singles cruise? No, I have not been on a single cruise. From your life experience in travel and finance maneuvers that you've learned now that you have done, anything you have done differently 30 years ago? I'd buy more stocks. Would you organize a meet-up since your audience is sharing the same cruise with you now? I don't know if I'd organize a meetup, but I always go to the Facebook group meetup. So if someone wanted to meet me, join the Facebook group page, I always go to those. So yeah, I would say that, go to that. I don't like organizing stuff because I don't know what I'm gonna wanna do at a certain time. And if you meet me on the ship, you bump into me, just start talking, I'll chat with you. It's actually more intimate that way anyway, I think. Or if you see me going and eating in a buffet, like I always sit by myself, just come and join me, it won't bother me. I think that would be more intimate than trying to speak to like 25 people. Just come up and talk to me. We don't have to organize anything. I hate organizing things. Again, I was in the military 20 years. I lived on a schedule for a big part of my life. That's why people always ask me like, what's the schedule? I'm like, I don't know. Like what ports are you pulling into? I don't know. Like now I look for you guys, but normally I don't even know until the night before. But I look for you guys now because you guys ask me. Sig says, I can see the port from my apartment balcony. That's awesome. I would love to have an apartment down here, a condo. If you get sick and go to the doctor, do they quarantine you? Only if you have something contagious. I mean, you should want to be quarantined anyway. Like you're the worst person ever if you have something contagious and you continue to go around the ship while you're contagious. But if it's not contagious, they're not going to quarantine you. But they should quarantine you because if not, everyone else will get sick. When I had norovirus, I was quarantined. How's your weight loss journey going? I've lost, since I started this cruise 40 something days ago, I've lost 26 pounds, I believe. My goal is 35 pounds. For those who don't know, I gained a bunch of weight, combination of factors with that. I had prostate cancer, and the kind of treatment I had made it where I was sedentary for a while. I'm cured, don't worry about it. But, and then I went to take care of my mom, and my mom cooks amazing food constantly and shoves it down my throat. It's not her fault, it's my fault for eating it. But I gained a lot of weight. I weighed more than I've ever weighed in my life. And so I made it my vow on the cruise ship to lose weight. I got a whole video about losing weight on a cruise ship. It's called like how I lost 9 pounds on a cruise ship. I'm probably gonna do another video after I'm done losing the 35 pounds I wanna lose. Basically, I'm going from 210 to 175. I'm at 185 right now. So I've lost 26 pounds. And I always tell people it's actually pretty easy to lose weight on a cruise ship. A lot of people think you gain weight on a cruise ship, but the secrets of my success are every morning I get up early and I get in 10 to 20,000 steps, usually 20,000 now. By the end of the day, I usually have 30,000 steps. But even on my the mornings where I only get 10,000 steps, I usually end up having 20,000 steps. So I have that. I also am eating super healthy. So I'm eating salmon, grilled perch, grilled chicken, whatever the grilled meat is. I'm staying away from all the red meats and processed meats. And then you can just eat as many vegetables as you want on here. Just make sure it's not the ones fried in a bunch of butter, like it's the healthy stuff. And yeah, I've been able to drop a bunch of weight. And also I do, once a week, I do a 24-hour fast. And I know that sounds hard in your head, but really try to eat early. Eat at like 5:30 p.m., 5:30 p.m. And then don't eat again until the next 5:30. And then you're actually still eating the next day, but it's a 24-hour fast. So I'll do one 24-hour fast a week. And that just kind of helps re-jumpstart my weight loss when I'm kind of hitting a plateau. And that's how I've done it. And I'm still drinking my fufu coffee. I'm drinking it with almond milk instead of dairy, but I'm staying away from dairy and that kind of stuff. But yeah. Do you think being in the Navy made cruising transition easier for you? I mean, I like being at sea. Some people don't like cruising because of the sea days, but I like being at sea. It's one of my favorite parts of cruising. So I think maybe that, but it's as night and day different from being in the Navy as anything else is. Just like being in a all-inclusive hotel is different than being in a barracks on a military base. Same thing, being on a Navy ship is much different than being on a cruise ship. Are you drinking enough water? Yeah, I'm drinking tons of water. Let's see, I think I'm all caught up. If I missed your question, ask it again. Are you drinking enough water? I answered that one. Yes. Oh, someone was trying to get in a paint locker. Hi from New Zealand. Have you been over this way before? No, I actually had a Trans-Pacific cruise booked, and I was going to New Zealand, and my mother had a little accident. She's fine, but I had to go take care of her, so I canceled that cruise. And then I wanted to take her on a vacation after she felt better. So I took her over to Venice, and then we took a transatlantic cruise back from Europe. Man, I take my glasses off because it's so dark, but when I take them off, it's so like white right here that it just makes it hard for me to not squint. But yeah, I was supposed to go to New Zealand, but yeah, I have to pick that up. I've been to New Zealand in the Navy, and to Australia a lot. Not that New Zealand and Australia are the same place, but you know, close geographically from a nautical perspective. Kevin, the idea of having twin beds instead of queen bed now. I often cruise solo. Yeah, I mean, I did it last cruise. I can't take credit for that. Cruising for One, who was in the chat earlier, I'm not sure if he's still in here, is the one that gave me that idea, and I loved it. This cruise, I'll be back to a full bed, just because. So the last cruise I was on, the last stateroom I had, the beds were already separate when I went into there, and I just told the steward to leave them apart so he didn't have to do any extra work. And I wanted to try it anyway, and I love it actually. I prefer it that way. But when I went to, hey, how are you? when I went to my new cabin, it was set as one bed, and so I didn't want the guy to have to separate it, so I just left it one bed. Hi from Oregon, just jumping on. Sorry if you covered this. Are your cruises still free from the casino? Yeah. All my cruises for the rest of the time on here, including when I stop in Astoria, Oregon, are free. Free cruise fare. If you want to know more about that, it's just too long for me to talk about it on this live stream, but go check out my video about what cruising last month cost me. It's like 2 or 3 videos ago, and I go into depth how I got free cruises, and it was easier than you would think. I'm not even a casino person at all, but I've been cruising for like 9 months straight without having to pay cruise fare. You still have to pay port fees, taxes, and gratuities, and put down a deposit, but that's it. What's been my favorite cruise so far? I took a 33-day Fire and Ice cruise on Island Princess that went from Fort Lauderdale to Halifax, Canada. Then we went up to Reykjavik, Iceland, and then we went all the way around. We circumnavigated Iceland and went through all these Icelandic fjords to these little small towns that had like 500 people in them as port visits. And you can only do that if you're on a small ship like Island Princess, because the bigger ships won't fit through those fjords. And then we went over to Norway, and we did the same thing on the top of Norway. We went into all the Norwegian fjords, not the ones the big ships can fit into. They can only fit into a couple of them. We went to the ones they can't fit in, and that was amazing. It was almost all above the Arctic Circle. It was awesome. That was my favorite cruise. We also went to Tallinn, Estonia, which is one of my favorite places to go as well. Can you suggest a few good cities to rent a small place if you want to do several cruises? I would say Galveston is good. And then Fort Lauderdale, obviously, Hollywood, California, or Hollywood, Florida. Those are the two that come to mind. I mean, Tampa you can cruise out of. Not Orlando. They always say Orlando Cruise Port, but it's really like on the coast. And I can't remember the town's name, but yeah, you could do those, but there's less options. Baltimore's another good one. But yeah, go to Cruise Plum, Plum, and you can search by departure port, and it'll just show you on there. And it's amazing. It's an amazing search engine. V says, I'll email you next week. Okay. Did you go to the Blue Lagoon in Iceland? Yeah, I've been to Iceland before, and I went to it then. How's the new suitcase working out for you? I love it. For those who don't know, I traveled with a backpack forever, and I was kind of like famous for it, but I started having some back issues that come from a motorcycle accident I got to long time ago. And so I switched to a roller bag, and it's a level 8 roller bag. I love it. I talked about it in my last video. I think I have a link to it down below. I love it. I love it because the wheels are so great, and yeah. So that's what I travel with now, but it's carry-on only. At least in the United States. Once I get out of the United States, it's probably going to be too big for a carry-on. They allow much smaller carry-ons, and usually you can only weigh like 7 kilos, which is like less than 15 pounds. So. Yeah, Cruise Plum is amazing. For those that don't know, like a lot of people like that one Vacations to Go or whatever. Cruise Plum is so much better than Vacations to Go, and I got nothing against Vacations to Go. I know some people love that organization, but they're selling cruises. So what you're seeing is only what like someone they have a deal with. Cruise Plum doesn't sell anything. It's just a search engine, and you can search every cruise line, and they just show everything. And the best thing about it is the price that it shows you is taxes, port fees, gratuities, and cruise fare, which is the true cost of a cruise. And as a solo, you can search by solo price, which is amazing because most you can't. And you can sort it by cost per day, which is the way you figure out what a cruise costs, and you can compare apples to apples instead of trying to compare apples to oranges. A lot of people think that solo supplement, you know, what you have to pay, the additional percentage you have to pay when you cruise solo, determines what a cruise costs and whether it's expensive or not. It does not. That is a marketing gimmick, and it's a terrible indicator of affordability of cruise. You can book a cruise on a cruise ship that has 0 solo supplement and still pay more than the exact same cruise on another cruise line that pays 100% solo supplement. But people get wrapped around the axle of, oh, what percentage solo supplement do I pay? Because they feel like they're being ripped off because solos or non-solos don't have to pay it, but it's really not a way to judge the price of a solo cruise. I got a whole video about it. It's called How to Find Cheap Cruises. Go check that video out, and I tell you why and go on and on about it, like basically like I just did, but even more, and why it's a bad indicator. And I show you some examples of cruises that have 0 solo supplement and cruises that have 100% solo supplement, and the one with 100% solo supplement is cheaper. It's the exact same cruise, the exact same ports, exact same number of days, but someone will go, oh, I'm getting no solo supplement, so I'm gonna pay more for this cruise, which is ridiculous. But people do it every day, all the time. I hear it so much about solo supplement, it drives me nuts because it's just a marketing gimmick and people have been fooled. It's not an indicator of affordability of a cruise at all. And it's not an indicator of an expensive cruise. Would I do any fall foliage cruises? I kind of did one when I did the Alaskan cruise. But yeah, I would consider that. I guess it wasn't a fall one, it was more of a spring one, a blooming one. How you doing, LV, by the way? Definitely love Cruise Plum. Yeah, Cruise Plum is the best cruise tool out there. It's not even close. Like, it's not even close. If you've ever used Vacations to Go and Cruise Plum, like, and you say Vacations to Go is better, then you don't know how to use Cruise Plum. It's so much better. And there's nothing wrong with Vacations to Go, but they are a travel agent. So they're you got to look at it through that lens. They're selling you something, where Cruise Plum is just a search engine like Google. They're not selling you anything like overtly. Maybe, you know, they are under, you know, if they start running ads and stuff, but their cruises have nothing to do with that. Only way I can find round trip Transoceans, yeah. It's got, the thing I love about Cruise Plum is it has, you can search by anything. So let's say you want to see if there's a cruise out of Asia that's coming to the United States in October. Well, you put departure port, Asia, arrival port, United States. You don't have to pick a port, just put those two things on there and then pick the month of October and it'll show you all of them. Or let's say you want to search only balcony cabins, only cruising out of LA, only cruise lines with, I don't know. I'm trying to think of another variable. There's tons of variables that you can throw in there. How you doing? How you doing? Hey, how you doing? Is that that lady who does YouTube? You know what I'm talking about? The blonde lady that does, is that her? No, that's not her. It looked like her though, for a second. You know what I'm talking about? The lady, she does a lot of princess cruises out of LA. And this would be a smart cruise for her to be on because it's ending in LA. I don't know, maybe it is. No, not Alana. It's a, Cruise Tips maybe? Miss Cruise Tips? And she always says Mr. Cruise Tips for her husband, something like that. She cruises out of LA all the time. They live in California. She does a lot of princess. And maybe it's Cruise Tips or something like that. It's not Alana. I know who Alana is. She's blonde. I'm trying to see if it's her. It's driving me crazy. Let me go see if I can get a better look at her. She just walked down steps. I don't think that's her. I know she's super short, and that lady was super short. And had the same haircut and same type of style, but I didn't really see her face very well. So, let's see. No, it's not the Canadian lady with the Lifeboat Cruise, Alana. I know who Alana is. She has short blonde hair. She cruises a lot of a lot of Princess, and someone said she might live in Texas now. Hey, Deborah, what's going on? Deborah's out of Pensacola, which is a big Navy town. God, what is her name? Sherry, that's it, Sherry. Cruise Tips TV, that's it, Cruise Tips TV. Yeah, she always says Mr. Cruise Tips TV. But you say she's out of Texas now, okay. So what do they do, cruise out of Galveston a lot? I mentioned this earlier in my live stream, I've been thinking about buying a condo in Galveston right in the Strand because you can walk to the cruises. So I'd have a place right there at a really good cruise port, and it has a really good airport. So I've actually been looking at condos, and they have loft condos there that are built in these buildings from like the 1800s, which I really like. I like a nice renovated loft. That's kind of my style, you know. I'm a lifelong bachelor, and I just like lofts, and they have a lot of them there, and they're within a block of the cruise terminals, so I could walk to a cruise and walk off when we got back out of Galveston, and then Houston has the 2 Houston airports, only like a 20-minute Uber ride away, so it'd be a good spot to travel out of. And I was in the military for 20 years, and I heard they have a lot of good military benefits there, VA benefits. Let's see. She was on the Sun Princess with Let's Go Travel Tips. Yeah, that's where I saw the picture of her and why I found out she was so short, because I didn't know she was short until I saw this picture of her standing next to Emma from Emma Cruises and all the other cruisers, and she was so short next to Emma. Emma like towered over her, and I know Emma, and Emma's not that tall. Emma's not even close to as tall as me, so. Yeah, that's her, Cruise Tips TV. She's got a great YouTube channel too. I watched her stuff a lot, Sherry. I'm so bad with names, remembering names. But yeah, so if you got any questions, throw them out there. We're here in Fort Lauderdale. Here, someone's pulling out. Celebrity ship. That's a celebrity ship right there. That's how big the ships are. Look how big that ship is. Like, you got buildings right here. That's the channel. Look at how big that ship looks next to a building. Like, look at that. Like, that ship is right next to that building, that apartment building. That's insane. Someone said, do I eat healthy? Yeah, so I get my steps every day, and I've been focusing on losing weight, so I haven't hit the weight room a lot. At some point I will, but I've been focusing on dropping the pounds. I eat healthy, and I'm getting between 20 and 30,000 steps right now. Right now, if you looked at my monthly average right now is like 26,000 steps a day. So anywhere, as long as 10,000 was my original goal, but I wanted to like expedite the weight loss. So I moved it up to 20,000. So I usually walk, I get up pretty early. I'm an early riser for my military days. I usually get up between 4 and 5 a.m. and I start walking. And there's nobody else walking, so I can walk on either the promenade deck, I'll have it all to myself, or if it's really hot and humid in the Caribbean, I'll just walk the inside 7th deck, which is air conditioned. So I'll just walk that for 3 hours. And in 3 hours, I usually get between 16 to 18,000 steps, usually closer to 18,000. So now I already know it's going to be easy for me to get 20,000. And I'll usually go drink some coffee. And after I drink the coffee, because I drink Fitful coffee, I'll go out and walk another 5,000 steps. Usually I'll do that around the pool deck. And then I'm over 20,000 steps for the day. And then the rest of the steps I get for the day usually put me at about 30. Yeah, I'm lucky I don't have any knee issues. I do get bursitis. I don't know if you know what that is, but I do get some bursitis, and sometimes I have some plantar fasciitis issues. But I've been avoiding them by wearing knee brace and stuff like that. I still get the bursitis all the time. It's kind of like knee pain on the side of your knee, and I also get bursa sac stuff. I used to run marathons, so I know all these stupid runners' diseases, but it's been all right though. But yeah, if I wasn't able to do that, I would be on the elliptical as well, the bike and the elliptical. Some ships are way too big, not interested at all. Yeah. Travis says, you know Emma? Yeah, she talks about me all the time on her videos. Not all the time, just sometimes. So me and Emma go way back. So me and Emma, when we both had under 10,000 subscribers, me and Emma, actually way under, like 1,000 subscribers. She subscribed to my channel because she liked travel channels. This was when she had like 1,000 subscribers, and I subscribed to her channel because I was thinking about cruising. I loved cruising, and I was in the Navy, so I subscribed to her channel, and we just formed a friendship way back in the day. And yeah, now she's much more famous than me, and she's been super gracious, mentioning my channel on her channel. She always sends me messages on Instagram. She's a great person. Hopefully I run into her again one day. Thanks, Going Green Mom, for posting all those links. Since you turned me on to Cruise Plum, I really enjoy the trend graph showing the price swings. Yeah, that's another great thing about Cruise Plum is if you give me your email address, you'll have an account. And they've never emailed me once, by the way. But then you can save cruises, and you can go in and look at their price history, and you can also get alerts sent to you when a price falls. So like right now I'm following 2 Trans-Pacific cruises out of Singapore that leave about the same time, one on Carnival, one on Princess. They're almost the same cruise, and the Carnival one is like $3,000, the Princess one is like $6,000. So I'm watching them to see how the prices change and stuff like that, because I'll probably book one of those. What do you think of vloggers who do Patreon? So for a long time, YouTube didn't have memberships. So a lot of people did Patreon as a way to make supplemental income on their YouTube channel. Patreon takes less than YouTube as well, but I just like everything in the YouTube system, because then it makes taxes easier. Because all the money you make on YouTube, you got to pay taxes, and it just makes taxes easier, the less things you have to worry about. So the only tax form I get is from Google, which is the ones who own YouTube. The only tax form I get is from them for everything, for memberships, for ad revenue, for super chats, for all that stuff. And then I get another one from Unbound Merino, because I sell a crap ton of merino wool by them when people use my affiliate links. And that's it. The other stuff I don't make enough money on. Maybe Amazon. If you make more than 600 a year, Amazon will send you one. I've never made more than 600 in a year on Amazon, but maybe this year, because this thing keeps selling so much. But yeah. What do I edit my videos with? I'm starting with iMovie because it's free, but I know I'll seek something soon. So are you using a MacBook Pro better? So I used to use a MacBook Pro, and I used Final Cut Pro, and I started off with iMovie. Final Cut Pro is just an advanced version of iMovie with a lot more functionality. I recently switched to Final Cut Pro on iPad. I got an iPad with an M2 processor, an iPad Pro, and it's not as good of a program as the one on the MacBook Pro, but it's good enough for me. I like the pencil that I can use, and it just makes my editing much more faster, so I like it. Even though I don't have the full functionality and I can't do all the cool whiz-bang things I used to do, it makes my editing a lot faster, and I really like it. So I use Final Cut Pro for iPad, which is different than Final Cut Pro for MacBook. It's a much more scaled down version, but it's still pretty good, and it's better than iMovie, but iMovie's pretty good too. So yeah, that's what I use. And the good thing about the iPad Pro version is it's $50 for a year, so it's only $5 less than that, four something a month. So if you pay for a year. It's like $49.99. So it's actually a pretty good value compared to other ones. So it's pretty cheap. And if you're making YouTube videos and making money, it's tax deductible. So I tried Cruise Plum, but can't figure it out. How to watch a cruise. Can't do a video showing how to navigate it. If you watch my video, how to find cheap cruises, I show some navigation in there. But what you got to do is register with your email address. And then when you go to Cruise Plum and you click like how you want to search, like searching, it'll show your email address. Or if it doesn't, it'll say log in with your email address. And then whenever you click on a cruise, you can star it. And whenever you star it, if you go back and click on your email address, you can see all the cruises you've starred. And when you click on that cruise, there'll be a little like thing that shows you the history of the price. You have an iPad Air? I don't know. I have an M2, the M2 chip. I don't know what chip you have. If you got the M1 iPad Air, maybe, but I've never tried it with that, so I can't vouch for it. It's super fast with the M2, so I don't know. I can't vouch for it with the M1 because I've never used it with the M1. But there are people that do, so maybe look up YouTube, people who use the iPad Air M1 with Final Cut Pro. Actually, make sure it's available for the iPad Air first. But yeah, I have the iPad Pro with the M2 processor, which is the best processor you can get. And I also have 2 terabytes because videos can take a lot of space on board your iPad too, so just know that. So yeah, I've got a maxed out iPad. Do I go to the gym daily? No, I answered that. I think I just walk daily. Ruby Princess headed through the Panama Canal to California. Yeah, so we're doing a Panama Canal cruise that starts in Fort Lauderdale, ends in California, but that's not where Ruby Princess is going to be home ported out of. Then we do a California or a West Coast wine cruise to Vancouver. Vancouver is where Ruby Princess is going to be home ported out of. We're going to go from Vancouver to Hawaii and back to Vancouver, and then Ruby Princess starts its Alaskan cruises. So it'll be 7-day Alaskan cruises over and over and over again. It's 2 different Alaskan cruises, but yeah, it'll be a bunch of Alaskan cruising out of Vancouver for Ruby Princess. But yeah, they will stop in California to drop off the people from this cruise and pick up the people from the next cruise. But they're not ported out of LA. Do you back up to somewhere where you finish your video when you finish your videos? So with the iPad, I use you can buy this little dongle that you can use memory cards, and so I do put the stuff on memory cards. Most of the videos, if they're just talking head videos, I usually don't save them. If they're not a scenic type of video, I don't save it because it's uploaded on YouTube. And so like if it's a talking head video, like 5 things you must have on a cruise, I don't save that video. Paradise Forever says, I'd love to send you my travel platform for your review. What would be the best way to connect? Yeah, you can email me, Kevin at 30 and a wake up, 30 and a wake up. You can email it to me. I'll be honest with you, I don't do a whole lot of collaborations. If it's something that I like and I end up using, and I use it for 6 months and I like it, I might share it with people in my video, but I don't usually do any kind of like collaborations like that. I get emails every single day, multiple emails a day about doing those kind of collaborations, and I don't like doing that stuff. I only talk about stuff that I use and I love it, like this wallet or my backpack or merino wool, stuff that I've used for a long time, and then I'll say, hey, if the company contacts me or I contact them to get my audience a link for it, a discount link, then I'll do that. But usually, like I was using Cruise Plum for 6 months before I even talked about it on here. So it'll take a while for me to do that, but you can definitely send it to me, and yeah. Pilot boat cruising around, yeah. These are a bunch of security boats right here, these ones. that one, and then there's another one. I don't know. There's another one right here, but you can't see it. Yeah, there's a lot. There's actually a lot of security boats around the ship. Although you know what, there is water slushing around there, so they do have the APUs on. Auxiliary power units, I think auxiliary propulsion unit. Security ship, security ship, security ship, security ship, security ship. There's a ton of them. I think they usually do that when they're pulling out to keep ships away from this thing. So. Wow. I don't know, what time is it? Oh yeah, it is 4. Let's go see if there's any sail away party festivities going on. Give you guys a little sail away here. I know the camera's gonna be really shaky, so those of you watching on the replay, don't leave hate comments about it. I don't have a gimbal right now. So normally I just do these sitting down. Nancy Ross is in the house. What's going on, Nancy? My sister wanted to do Princess Cruise from LA to Vancouver, and then Vancouver to Alaska, back to Seattle, and they were not allowed. People keep saying that, but I'm allowed, so I don't know why she wasn't allowed. I'm doing it. People keep saying, I've heard that a couple times. I don't know. I know there's that rule. There you go. That was the horn, by the way. There's the big TV screen for Movies Under the Stars. Yeah, no Love Boat horn on Ruby. Yeah, there's Jones Act stuff, but as long as you're hitting another port, I don't know, and maybe because I'm American sailing out of Vancouver, then going to Hawaii, but then back to Vancouver, I mean, it wouldn't violate the Jones Act. So it doesn't look like they're doing any sail away party yet. And they might have just moved it to not being down outside because of the rain earlier. I mean, it was storming earlier. So maybe it's too wet for them to be dancing around. So if that's the case, that means it's down in the atrium. But you'll see, there's actually a lot of people out here. Actually, a lot. Oh yeah, it looks like a lot of people. Uh-oh, lots of kids in the pool. All right, I'm going back to my sitting spot. It's going to take us a while. Pull out. And my spot actually had a really good view. When we start pulling out, my spot will actually be a good spot to be. To show you guys, as long as my battery lasts. I usually, when I have this mic plugged in, I usually can't go very long. I usually can't go very long, over 2 hours, so. Because when the mic's plugged in, it sucks battery life to charge itself. So. I actually just looked at my battery. That's why it went dead for a second. I got 26% left, so not too bad. Yeah, you'll see. Yeah, this spot appears actually pretty good. Less people. Nancy says, can't believe you're still going. Yeah, I'm probably going to end it soon because I know the battery will run out. And people hate when I do 3-hour live streams for rewatch. I'm serious about meeting in Hawaii if you'd like someone to drive you around Oahu. I don't know if you know this, but I lived on Oahu for 10 years, so I actually know it pretty well. So what I'm probably going to do is my favorite thing to do when I'm in Oahu on a short trip, like especially with a cruise ship, is I'm just going to go over to Ala Moana Beach Park and I'm going to rent a surfboard and I'm going to surf because I know I can walk to where the cruise is ported at from there. So that's what I'm going to do. I lived in Hawaii for 10 years, so and I've spent a bunch of time there since then. So I actually know Oahu very well. It's actually my home away from home. I moved there at 18 years old in the military, and it's where I grew up basically as a young adult. So I know it really, really well. And then like if you watch my channel for a while, you know before I went to Thailand, I spent 3 months there, down in a little apartment down in Waikiki. So yeah, probably that day in Oahu, I'll just go down to Ala Moana Beach Park and grab a surfboard and go surfing. That's probably what I'll do. Yeah, I can't believe there's 135 people still watching. That's crazy. If you don't mind smashing a thumbs up if you haven't, I'd appreciate it. I'm trying to be a little bit more quiet because there's more people out here, and I don't want to disturb their cruise experience. So let me know if I'm too quiet and you can't hear me. But we still got a pretty good view going on here. Yeah, Hawaii is one of my favorite places. I'm excited to visit there on a cruise ship. I've never done that. I've never visited Hawaii on a cruise ship. So that'll be cool. And we're going to Oahu, but we're also going to 3 other ports. I can't remember which ones, but 3 other islands. We need to chat about Hawaii. We'll be there in a few weeks. And our port in Maui has changed for obvious reasons from Lahaina. Okay, what to do. So I lived on Oahu, and so I can't give you a ton of advice on Maui or those places because I've been there onesies and twosies times as a tourist. It would be like you're from Florida and someone asking you, hey, what should I do when I come to Montana? Right? The islands are so different that I wouldn't be able to answer the question for you unless you asked me about Oahu. Then I'd be able to give you some good places. But as far as Maui goes, I've been to Maui twice in my life. Once when I was 22, and once when I was 27, I think. So, and I'm 48 now. So the last time I was there was 21 years ago. So I'd be giving you advice based on 21 years ago. So, yeah. But Oahu, I could give you advice on. Main dining room tonight with new guests to meet. I 9 times out of 10 don't go to, actually not 9 times out of 10, 99 times out of 100 don't go to the main dining room. I don't like putting on pants, and you got to put on pants to go to the main dining room. So unless I go to a solo meetup, which is going on right now, it's 15 minutes into it. So obviously probably won't do that. Then yeah, I won't go to the main dining room. In Oahu, we're hitting Walmart, Target to restock sodas and wines. Guess we'll go to Waikiki or where else? I mean, you're at Aloha Tower. Usually the ship pulls in around the Aloha Tower area. And so there's actually a closer beach than Waikiki called Ala Moana Beach Park, and they've actually made it pretty nice now. There's a mall right across the street from there too called Ala Moana Mall. But there's Ala Moana Beach Park there. When I lived there, it wasn't that great of a beach, but it's built up much better now. So if you want to go to Waikiki, go to Waikiki. But actually, I wouldn't even suggest Waikiki. I would suggest keep going past Waikiki. You can actually walk it if you want. It's a long walk though, and you'll find some amazing beaches with a bunch of turtles and surfers and stuff like that. Waikiki Beach is, it's okay. It's pretty, but it's just so crowded all the time. I've been on 3 cruises, never been in the main dining room. It's right at my main alley. I mean, I've been on back to back cruises. I think I'm on my 5th cruise in a row on this ship, and I haven't been in the main dining room yet. No, that's not true. I went one night. So. Oh yeah, we are moving. Here, let's give you the view. This is actually one of my favorite places to pull out of. It's actually really pretty here. Someone said they did Pearl Harbor. Yeah, I always take that for granted because I was stationed in Pearl Harbor. And I was actually one of the people that helped refurbish the Missouri when they brought it to the island in like 1990, God, what was it, 1996 maybe, 97? I helped them actually refurbish that thing so they could turn it into a museum because I was from Missouri, so I wanted to help out with the project. So, yeah, so that's where we just left. Right there. That's Terminal 2, which is the Princess Terminal, and then that's the Hilton right there. If you stay at the Hilton, you can just walk over. It's like really easy. And so we pulled out that way, and we're going this way. So pretty cool. Yeah, I'm on Ruby Princess. There is some really nice houses right here. And when you get up here, there's almost always, it's been rainy today, so we might not see all the festivities, but a lot of times there's people up here with princess flags. I don't know how it's kind of crazy. Some people just love Princess, and I'm assuming it's nobody from Princess Cruises. It's just people who like Princess. That's where we're coming from. That's where we're going. You saw earlier, like the contrast now. I'm in this area right here, right? This rail right here. There's nobody here. Great unobstructed view, as opposed to being down where we were a little bit ago, where the whole rail is taken. Like sometimes I don't understand people and like why they congregate like that when there's so much better real estate. There's a port cam that shows the ships departing. The condo residents have flags for every cruise line. Ah, okay, there you go. That's cool. That's like an old church right there. A big gold tower right there. Yeah, I actually see the princess flag. And there's somebody blowing a horn. I'd be doing that too. If I lived in this house, I'd be blowing horns at all the cruisers. Someone asked what a repositioning cruise is. So this cruise has been sailing out of the home port of Fort Lauderdale for the last few months, and it is switching the home port that it sails out of. So that is a repositioning cruise, a cruise repositioning to somewhere else. So this ship is there's the princess flag right there. So yeah, I'm in Fort Lauderdale Cruise Port. We're pulling out right now. Repositioning Cruise. So so this ship was cruising out of Fort Lauderdale, and now it's switching from the East Coast to the West Coast because hurricane season's getting ready to start, and Alaskan cruising is starting. So they need more ships over near Alaska. So this ship is going to basically reposition from Florida to Vancouver, British Columbia. That's where it's going to be sailing out of. This cruise that I'm on right now is a Panama Canal cruise, and it starts in Fort Lauderdale, ends in LA, Los Angeles, California, but we will not be LA. They'll pick up a new path, go up the West Coast, and do a West Coast wine, and then the ship home ports in Vancouver, and then we'll be sailing out of Vancouver the rest of the time. We do a Hawaiian cruise first, 16-day Hawaiian cruise. That goes from Vancouver to Hawaii, hits 4 ports in Hawaii, and then comes back to Vancouver. And then we start 7-day Alaskan cruises. So Ruby Princess will just be doing 7-day Alaskan cruises over and over and over again, starting in Vancouver, ending in Vancouver. There's a bunch of people on the beach waving at us. Someone said bon voyage. Thank you, thank you. Do I use the marine traffic app? No, but I need to, because I think that would be fun too. Because I'm a nerd like you, and that sounds like there's the beach right there. I think that's Hollywood Beach though. I don't think that's not Fort Lauderdale Beach. I'm pretty sure this way is north, and that's Hollywood Beach. Security vessel. Yep, calm seas and smooth winds. Let's hope. Let's hope. What are you picking up in LA? We're picking up a bunch of other cruise passengers. We'll drop off the ones that did this cruise that don't want to stay, and we'll pick up a bunch more. Oh, Hollywood is south. I thought Hollywood was north of Fort Lauderdale. I thought Hollywood Beach was north. I could be wrong though. So that is Fort Lauderdale Beach. Okay, cool. That's beautiful. When it's really sunny here, this water is really pretty. It looks a little bit, it doesn't look as pretty as it does when the sun is blaring. It's not cloudy. All right, folks. I think we're going to call that a live stream because I'm about to lose cell phone connection. So I need to switch over to Starlink, which will be too slow to do a live stream. Although I'm going to try one to see if it works. I'm going to try one at sea and see if it works. But thanks everyone for stopping by. See you next video.